Hey, my name is Paul Wynne, and today I'm going to talk to you about Cloud IQ. So Cloud IQ is a product by Dell Technologies, and it is cloud-based analytics for the storage portfolio. And that's ranging from entry level right up to mid-range and high-end storage. This is hosted on Dell's networks. It's got a 4-hour SLA for uptime, so it's we would hope that it's available 24/7 to all customers that need it. There is no cost associated with using this product. It is something you turn on. Once you've got a valid support contract for your storage product, you're good, you're set. Turn it on. Okay, so some of the things that it would cover would be, a lot of the hardware. So right down into components like power supplies, fans, things like that. There is support and monitoring for configuration items such as virtualization stack features, high availability, physical connections not being present, capacity, performance, the kind of stuff that we would be, looking to use on a daily basis. And data collection intervals then would range from anywhere from 5 minutes, right out, depending on the frequency of phone home information. But the kind of things we're interested in, our alerts, performance, and capacity, we can get on quite a granular interval. So there's there are a lot of different capabilities within this product. I'm not going to sit on this because I want to show you a system and let's walk through that. But we can look at overall health scores for systems. So it uses traffic lights. Red, stop, or red is needs attention. Amber is something I need to be more careful about. Okay, and green, go. I don't care. It's if I log on in the morning and I see everything green, then I'm not worrying about my storage systems until I get an alert or until I go back to check again, because I might have that penned in as an activity at multiple different points during my day. One of the common use cases for this product would be to put it up on a big screen in the office or in a NOC or something, where you can monitor all of your arrays from a single space. But if something does go bad, then I want to be able to go and check that out. We get a lot of information about our systems here because this is associated with our support contract. We get kind of things like the locations, when has it phoned home last, what code version is it running, product names, DNS names, things like that. There's a lot of information on there. Additionally, things like the amount of capacity we have available on each one of our appliances or arrays, and the status of that capacity at any given period of time. Performance, it's kind of stuff we're looking at on the array's native tooling anyway, but we can use this for troubleshooting or just having a quick glance at something we want to just put on a watch list. We would typically use this on a laptop or on a desktop, but also there is a mobile application. So we just take our EMC, our Dell EMC support credentials, log in, and we get access to all of our systems in a nice little web app that for the phone. So if we're on the go, on holidays, night out, but we still want to keep an eye on our systems, then we're set. So some of the supported products. Everything within the mid-range portfolio, ME is supported, but the full Unity family, including the Unity VSAs, right up to high-end PowerMax and Extreme IO, SC series, and most recently PowerStore has been added for support also. Taking this on a little bit, there is now support for SAN fabric as well. So Connectrix switching. So both Brocade and Cisco are supported and can be monitored through this platform. So the ability to look at things like zone configs, how many devices are active, ports are active, etc. We can look at that. There's also the ability to monitor VMware systems. So you can download a vApp from the Cloud IQ portal, deploy it into vCenter, and from there then we can just monitor the health and status of all of the virtual machines that are exposed to that vCenter. So the supported code versions for this, the minimum supported code versions, Unity version 4, it's 7.3 for SC, and then on the VMAX systems and PowerMax, it's 9 and above. Okay, And then we've got our connectrix switches, anything running version 8.8.2 on the Brigades and 8.1 on the MDS are supported. And again, there's no cost, there's no limitation to the amount of systems that we add. There are a number of different roles when it comes to Cloud IQ. First of these would be team members. So this is the end customer. Okay, this is the systems administrator within an organization that wants to be able to monitor the health of these systems. Then you've got Dell MC advisors. So this could be, your SE or your AE. You want to give them the ability to be able to go and look at your systems as well, because they're an SE that is very, very proactive, that is very engaged with a customer, has partnered heavily, and is, as invested in the performance and health of their systems as the end customer is. Then we have partners. So let's take, we have so many partners right around the globe that are reselling Dell technology solutions. So a lot of the time, end customers don't want the headache of monitoring that storage array. So they've got the ability to allow the partner be able to see that system and have them do all of that monitoring for them. Turning it on is simple, and this is just an example for Unity of how you would turn on Cloud IQ. So you would go to your settings, you would go to central management, and once you've got your support assist or SRS information registered, then you would simply just check this box to send data to Cloud IQ. So it's not additional data, it's the same data that you are sending back to support assist that gets forwarded onto the Cloud IQ engine. Okay, maybe a couple of points on this is that when you're sending this information, this is one-way information. Okay, so you're not exposing your system to any kind of risk. At the other end of this, when you are logging onto the Cloud IQ portal, you're using your secure credentials, but you have no ability to access the system should those credentials be compromised from the other end. Okay, and that's the end of the slides. Let's get rid of those and let's have a look at a system itself. Okay, so this is a simulator. It's publicly accessible, but it gives a good overview of the capabilities of this platform. I go to cloudiq.dellemc.com and I log in using my secure credentials. I'm immediately greeted with this quite busy screen, but it gives me all of the information that I want. Green, I don't need to worry about. Amber, I need some attention. Red is something that I immediately need to get after and figure out what's going on. And as you can see here, if we take a quick glance down through this, contracts, we've got 5 expired contracts against our systems. That's something that is, it's not critical within the next couple of minutes, but it's something I need to go and take a look at. I do have 7 systems that are performing poorly. They need to be looked at. Down here on the center of screen, we've got 3 imminent 3 systems that are approaching capacity. Yeah, we need to go on action against those very quickly. It's making life easy for us because it's saying these are the systems. You can see here, we've got this disaster recovery pool 2, and it's going to be full within 5 hours. The second system within 19 hours, and the third system within 5 hours. So yes, we need to action those immediately. We've got 1 system requiring an urgent update. Again, we'll have a look at that. And then when we scan down to our performance charts, we've got nothing here that's showing any major issues. Now, there are a couple of systems that have registered latency that is higher than we would like, especially when we're talking about flash systems. We want to be sub 5 milliseconds of latency. And if you're really, really greedy, we want sub 1 millisecond. Reclaimable storage is something that is it can be quite topical. Okay, we want to maximize the use of our capacity. So having capacity planning is good, but also out of what I have deployed, what can I reclaim? What's not in use anymore? And we can see here that we get a list of systems that have got capacity that we can reclaim. So we can go and take a look at those as well. But let's just jump back up here and take a normal daily log on. I want to go to my health and system health here on the left-hand side. And we will get an overview of all of our systems. plus that health status based on the scoring, which is going to be represented as a color, because we've got a lot of machine learning that's running in the background for this platform. Okay, so we have, right across the top here, we've got some systems that are showing poor health. Let's go action those. And then we've got some systems that are, have got some alerts against them that, they need a little bit of attention. Okay, so let's start with an amber and we'll have a look. Okay, so this is an SC5020 and it's telling us that it's got some issues. So one of the issues that is causing this to report a poor score is that a fiber channel port is not on its preferred physical port. Okay, so for me, this is straightforward. Somebody has rebooted a controller, all of the virtual ports failed over to the other controller, and they never did a rebalance afterwards. So when you log on to DSM, or Dell Storage Manager, you see this nice little button in the center that says rebalance now, because a controller was rebooted or it power cycled for whatever reason. So that one is quite easy to resolve. Now, because we're looking at that system, let's go and have a look at configuration information about it, so we can see where it's located, its last contact time, the version of code it's running. So it's running 7.3.1 here. You can see here we've got a total of 42 terabytes of capacity against that system. When we click on storage, we get to see all of the volumes. We get the what's configured for those, what's actually in use, how much of that is snapshot, and the size on disk. Okay, so we can see here we've got a significant amount of snapshotting against these volumes, so which would tell me that this system is quite busy. We can see any virtual machine that is upwind and connected, their OS versions, and the vCenters that they're connected to in this case. Our drives, we're looking for things like endurance. So we can see here, we've got read intensive drives. We get the number of them, so there are 15 disks here. We get the firmware versions on them, the serial numbers, but the endurance is the big thing, right? If we don't look at anything else, we look at the endurance. If the endurance has depleted, then it's suggesting we have an issue with that disk and we should probably look to get it replaced. Then we get our overall capacity, similar to what we would see within DSM or Unisphere for this platform. So we've got our efficiency savings, 31.6 to 1. How much space is snapshot? What is thin provisioned, and data reduction? What are the savings of data reduction within that system? Then we can go and look at its performance. So we're viewing data here from the last 24 hours. But if we like, we can follow, we can take this system and we can go and have a look at its metrics. So we can see here the IOPS, bandwidth, volume latency, controller A utilization, and controller B utilization. Okay, so which is quite cool, because if we've got an imbalance of workloads across controllers, then we're easily able to identify it here. So one of them could be running at 80%, one at 20. Maybe we need to manually balance the volumes across the controllers. So nice little check for us. So if we kind of go with the suggestion maybe that this system is underperforming, and we want to have a look at additional performance metrics, then we can just choose this, go to all metrics, and this will give me all of the main metrics that I would require to be able to look at that system. Okay, for most people that is sufficient. However, we may want to go a little bit different and have a look at something else. So we can see here that there's quite a spike in performance there, up to 118,000 IOPS. You can see the read-write ratio of that, what the queue looked like, and the queue was quite busy for that operation. It was pushing 7 gigabytes per second of throughput, and the IO size then was a 64K block, but latency was it was okay. It was in around just under 3 milliseconds. So it's we're able to go and identify these different hotspots. That's 24 hours worth of data. But if I just want to go and customize that, because I want to put my own charts on here. So we're looking at I want to look at the last hour, and I want to add my own metrics now. So over here, we scroll down, find our system. So it's an SC series, and we want to look at a system view of that system. We want to look at the bandwidth, CPU utilization, latency, and IO size. And it's the remote DC system that I want to look at. Nice and simple. I've got these graphs now added. So if there was anything happening on that box that I need to go and check for, then I can do so. So at a glance, I can see here, my latency is under control. I'm happy. Okay, that's a good thing. We've got no bottlenecks on this system in any way. And when we look at the CPU utilization, we're relatively even right across the two controllers within the appliance. Okay, so I can return here to my overall screen. I can jump into any one of these to take me to that particular set of metrics, but it is all contained here on the left hand side. Okay, so we had a quick look at the system health. If we want to have a look at health issues, we can get a full summary of them, where we can see the age of that error, the system it's against, and what score it's giving. We can have a look at active alerts and then system updates. So I like this. I've got a bunch of systems, and I can't be going checking all of them all the time, to see what's going on with them. But here I've got one urgent update required. So if I just expand this guy, we can see here that we've got a Unity 400 system. It's running 420 code, but it's saying you need to get to 421. It's an urgent update. Super. I also have this download link, which is something that I like because I don't have to go to the support site, go browsing, get the service tag of the system, find the code I want, and download it. Instead, I can just come here and I can click download from here, pull that version of code down, do a health check, update the system, and I should be back in compliance. Okay, that's our health. Under inventory, we get the full list of all of our systems. So as you can see here that, we've got a bunch of different systems within this. It's not really reflective of a real world scenario, because we've got everything from PowerMaxes to Unity VSAs, Extreme IOs, PowerScale clusters. We've even got PowerStore in here as well, so we can see that we've got some systems for the latest storage product that Dell Technologies is offering. But not only have we got the physical systems, we've also got the VSA, which is the virtual appliance. So anybody using Unity that's familiar with this, they may have site A running the main physical system, but at site B, they may have repurposed some hosts and they're running this virtual appliance on top to mimic the behavior of a Unity system. We have here also our SAN options. So all of our Connectrix switches, both our Brocades and our Ciscos, and we can have a look at information, around those. So let's just click on a system here, and we can see that we've got a single fabric on this one. How many zones have we got? We've got a couple of zones, 2 zones that are created against that system, and for our VMAX in this case. We can have a look at the attached devices also. So all those MLX adapters in there, and if we had anything else, we can see that there's a Symmetrix and all of the MLX adapters from our ESX hosts that are connected. So the speed they're running at as well is called out here on that. Then north of that, we have virtual machines running on those ESX hosts. We're able to get a full breakdown of all of the virtual machines, which host they're running on, and the vCenter that they're connected to, and the OS that they're running on. So just pretty slick. For the system also, we get a breakdown of how many ports. So we've got 99 ports, 6 of them are in use, and 93 are offline. This tells me I don't need to get a new Connectrix switch. Okay, I've got enough capacity. I can just keep populating this and licensing ports as I need them. There's some performance metrics for this as well. So we want to have a look at what's the utilization, where we're running our CPUs, etc. And do we have any kind of congestion on the switches and errors? So errors are going to be a byproduct of congestion against those switches. We don't have them in this case. Point is, there is a lot we can look at for these. Likewise, we've got hosts here as well. So we can take our hosts. Here's a Linux analytics host. We can have a look at him, so we can see what volumes are on him. In this case, this guy doesn't have any, but he's got 2 fiber channel ports. We get the port addresses and how many targets are actually mapped out to this guy. Under capacity, we get our overall system capacity. Okay, so this is back to our full view of our systems. how much capacity is on each one of these systems, and at a glance, we're ranging anything from 15 terabytes, right up to 246 terabytes on some of these systems, on this Extreme IO system down here. So, but things like, if we look at this, let's have a look at this SC here. So this guy is a 7020F. It's used 21 terabytes and it's got 69 free. It's giving us the overall data savings and efficiencies and how much data reduced data is actually on that box. So it's a lot of information there at a glance. If we look at the reclaimable storage here then as well, again, this kind of goes back to, how much space can I reclaim and reallocate to different consumers within my business? So we're looking at things like, no front-end IO for at least, a week against these 5 volumes. This could be, somebody used them for test and dev, they're finished, but we never cleaned it up afterwards. So that's something we can go and look at and go, okay, can I actually reclaim that and get rid of them? Here's a second scenario where these block objects were left on the system, but there are no hosts attached to them. As a result of that, it means that, again, that's probably a pretty good sign that they're not required anymore. But, we'll go and check, we'll do our due diligence, we may back them up, reset, whatever we want to do with them. So that is our capacity. Our performance we've kind of covered. We've seen how we can go and look at, we can follow the errors or the congestion and see what's happening with them. But this is kind of this milestones view shows us our entire state. So as you can see here, it's looking at our storage, our virtualization, so it's able to see our physical hosts. It's and it gives us all of the major timelines around the support contracts and end of life related to that product that we have registered here within Cloud IQ. So this is a nice, very, very handy view for me to be able to go and pull all of the information about the supportability and the support status of my entire estate. And they're kind of the main areas of the tool. Then down here, we've got our collectors. So this is where we can come down and see what collectors are actually deployed. So we can see here we've got 2 different VMware VApps that are deployed out there, and how many systems are connected to them. If we want to go then and reconfigure or make some configuration changes to those collectors, we can go and click on these tabs here to launch them. So in addition to that, every time there's a new update for Cloud IQ, you've got this little banner here called New, which will show all of the updates. So we can look at all of the enhancements that have been made. And this is a tool that is just, the roadmap is so rich for it. There is constantly new access for new capabilities for all of the different platforms within the portfolio. So we can see here, September 2020, mobile apps for PowerScale and Isilon. So these support for those products was added. There was additional support for Unisphere for PowerMax added. Then our ME4, so even our entry-level storage products can be managed out of here, and the same around switches and so on. We can come back through these, and we can have a look at what's going on with those. The what's new are just the most recent ones. So adding root cause analysis for virtual machines, nice little enhancement. Some people may be using things like VROps. That's fine. You can continue to do so. However, if you want to take all of your investment in your Dell compute, your Dell storage, and the virtualization layer that's sitting on top of that, you have this one-stop shop here at no cost that is able to give you enough information to make informed decisions and reactions for your entire estate. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this session. That is Cloud IQ. If you would like to learn more about this product, reach out to your sales reps, your account management teams, to dig a little bit deeper into this and see how you can add it to your environment. Thank you for your time today.